Hi, I'm Christopher Hein, and today we're going to talk about some weapons practice. So I feel for the Patreon page I haven't put up weapon stuff in a while. We're in the middle of summer here at the dojo, and that is when we do weapons, so we're doing weapons all the time, so it's just kind of on my mind. So you guys are going to get some weapon content for a little bit here. Today we're going to talk about the first Kumijo as I teach the first Kumijo. And the first Kumijo, if you're following along and you do Iwama, then you're going to say that's the 8th Kumijo, and that it's very different than Saito sensei did it. And the inspiration of all of my Kumijo come from Saito senseis. I think they're really very good. I just kind of don't like the way they're organized, and I think there's a lot of talking points that aren't really hit, and there's a lot of interesting stuff to talk about. So I teach them in a different order and talk about them in a different way. So very similar to Saito sensei's 8th Kumijo, but also pretty different. So I'm going to call Josh over here. We're going to go to work. Josh? All right, so let's talk about the first form as I teach it, and that's the 8th form from Saito sensei's Kumijo, or very similar to that 8th form. I teach this the first form because I think it covers a lot of good stuff right away. So in this form, Josh and I are both going to be in ski kamae. So we're going to be this position, and we're going to be out of range for ski kamae. Meaning right now, if I came in at Josh with a normal thrust, actually let's go this way. If I came in with Josh with a normal thrust, I can't get him, right? So, you know, and that's not to say I couldn't hop in and do an extra effort to get him, but we're looking at effort for effort, right? So when you're trying to figure out any of this stuff, you need to think, what is my baseline and what is their baseline? Now, can you do over your baseline? Yes, but they can also do over their baseline. So when you're trying to like figure out, you know, like, well, I could do this, and it's like, well, they could do something also. So what's the baseline for this? The baseline for this is in one step, I can't get Josh, right? Okay, so we're both on each other in this. All right, now, when I want to get Josh, of course, I could just take a step in that preps my action, right? So I could just come in here and now I'm in. But I gave him a lot of notification about what's going on. I gave him a lot of time to adapt to whatever I'm going to do. I did an action that really doesn't do anything besides set my distance, right? Doesn't give him anything he has to worry about, which means he can start calculating what to do for me. That gives him an advantage I don't want to have, right? I don't want him to have. So what I'm going to do in this is I'm actually going to make my distancing an attack. So I can do that by using Jodan Shiuchi and come in here and pop him. Now, because of the advantage of the kamae, of kin kamae, versus the disadvantage in jo kamae, then I have this reach advantage, right? So meaning, when we go like this, if I'm popping Josh and he comes to thrust me, he can't get me, right? Even when he leans in like that, right? So he still can't quite get me. So what you're looking for is a way that I can make an advantage once I'm in position. So not just am I getting to the distance I need to get into, and not I'm just hitting him, which is great because that makes him react to me, but also I've accounted for my secondary position, which is really, really good. So it's a great idea to attack someone, right? And if this guy's not very good, I'm probably just going to pop him. He's not going to have a response to that, and it's going to be really excellent for me. Okay, now, if he's aware of this, he can take advantage of the fact that I have to still move through this distance to get him, right? So there is still a time where I'm moving, and I'm not striking exactly during that time because I can't do the simplest, most efficient strike at this distance. So what he's going to do is he's going to come in and hit me. Boom, okay? So he's taking advantage of the fact that my actions compound, right? So I got to go up, turn it over, and hit him, Jodan Shiuchi. And he can just step in, and I am still stepping in, so he's going to meet me halfway. So when I come in, boom, he gets me there. Okay, now the problem for him here is he's got no protection for his head. So if I come down, bang, I'll hit him. So he'll hit me, cool, but he hasn't accounted for a second position in this, so that's not exactly a great move, right? However, because of hand-in-hand speed, if he brings his hands up as I bring my hands down, he'll still be able to defend himself, right? So across the board, when I teach all my weapons form stuff, this number one idea is how to deal with a low attack and manage a high attack at the same time. So this fits also my number one with the sword, my number one with everything else. So as I come in up high, he hits me. Bang, like this, okay? Now, hand for hand action, as I come down, he can protect his head. So we've got a nice counter for him. He can attack me and defend himself. However, if he can steal a little time, meaning he's a little faster, he can do even more with this. So meaning, as he hits me, he's going to immediately start stepping off line in my last little bit of a step, and he's going to then hit me again. Bang! So he's hit me twice now. Now, my reaction would be to come to his legs. So what he's going to do is slide that stick in between my hands. And now I can't get to his legs with any kind of power, right? Well, what's my idea? My idea is I have to clear this weapon somehow. How am I going to do that? I'm going to pull it free like this, okay? Now, if as I go to pull it free, he sticks right with me, he's going to bind my arms up and toss me away. And so we get the full form in this, right? Okay, so initially our big first idea is, how do I cover that distance in a clever way? It's a clever way, he just happens to be a little better than me, right? So as I come in, he pops me down low, he defends himself, gets off the line, and I miss him. He catches my hand, so I can't come in here and follow up on the attack. As I raise up, he sticks right with me and brings me over. Now, there's a ton of other little things that could happen in this, but those are all already accounted for in the way this is built. And the ones that don't account for it will be accounted for in the second form. So there's 10 of these forms. They all just answer questions that the other ones pose. But let's look at one big obvious one, right? So as I come in and he hits me, bang, I come down and he gets offline. He's protect his head and that whole 9 yards. All right, now, when I go to hit him here, let's say I'm a little faster. If I'm a little faster and I go to hit him, he's already in Banji no Kamae. So he's already defended. And because it's Banji no Kamae, he can defend all the way to his leg. So if I came down to his knee, he's still defended his knee. So while he's getting offline, he's still in a defended position. So if I'm faster, it doesn't matter. It doesn't turn out as well for him because I'm quicker, but he's still protected the whole time. Okay, now, once he catches in here and he tangles up my arms, could I just let go with this hand? Because the problem is this hand can't go in towards him because he's locked this hand in place, so I can't get into him, right? Could I just let go and hit him here? Sure. But the hit would be like this, right? So I could probably line up and let Josh hit me like this all day with the stick, and it would only get annoying after about the 15th hit. You know what I mean? So this is not a tremendously powerful hit. And if I let go here, he can mawashi right there into my face, right? So if I take my hand out of place, I'm going to get a crummy shot, and he's going to break my nose, right? So really a good trade for him if that's the trade we had to make. Okay, now, what if I want to get my hands out, and I want to do it in the way that he can't follow me up, right? So I could just pull my hands this way. When I do that, I expose the entirety of my back to his waiting weapon, right? So he has the back side and the front side both that are right there. So as I come back in, he's completely defended. So this is a really good position for him to set himself up in and answers a lot of the problems I'm going to give him. So this is a nice first form to start looking at. You can look at the difference in advantages between different kinds of kamae, and you can look at the differences in distances and timings and what happens, how to defend a position like your secondary position. So as I go in, how do I defend my secondary position? So a lot of good stuff in this form. I teach this the first form, and I kind of build all the other forms off of this. Hope that was helpful for you guys. I'm Chris Fries, Joshua Teehee, my Solana McDaniel's behind that camera right there. We'll see you in a future video.